Ooh, the Moto3 bikes got the jump almost together. Joe Francis may have got a little bit of a nip on the others, but Jordan Weaving picks it up and launches into turn 1. Joe Francis in second place on the WD-40 Honda, first lap of 12. The amazing thing about these is how, okay, Wayne Ryan's lap record.
Oh, he's gone in out there.
Wow, it worked.
No,
he loses out. It almost worked. That was an unusually aggressive move by Joe Irving, actually.
It was, yeah, it was.
So now that leaves his namesake Joe Francis at the front, just ahead of Jordan Weaving.
Yep.
But not for long. Weaving cuts brilliantly underneath and grabs the advantage. But Joe Irving's got nothing if not horsepower on the KTM.
He has. It's a quick bike, is that KTM of Joe Irving. That's a bike in third now, but watch it when they get... Oh, somebody sat up there. Somebody sat right up out of the seat.
Weaving, Francis and
Irving.
At Irving at the
Taz
front.
McKenzie, number 95 in fourth.
So McKenzie on the second of the KTMs, running in fourth place. At the moment, though, the man at the front is number 34, Jordan Weaving, getting quicker every meeting on his KTM. I beg your pardon, 3 KTMs out of 4. Taz
McKenzie levers Joe Irving aside as they go around Williams onto the back straight. Completely shoved him out of the way.
So now we've got Joe Francis is a kind of Honda filling in a KTM sandwich. No, he's not. He's whisked his way to the front. Well, WD-40's working then.
You just don't want it on your tyres.
And as they come, they now go into the long, right-hander at the bomb hole, and that carries them on to the long right-hander at corners, which must feel like it never ends sometimes.
Yeah, it is a brilliant corner, a brilliant corner. This is Taz McKenzie in third on the orange hair. That's a man, number 95. He's a man on the move, I think.
Taron McKenzie, of course, also taking part in the Red Bull Rookies Championship Series. And as they spit across the line now, it's Joe Francis, number 40, on the distinctive blue and yellow WD-40 bike, ahead of Jordan Weaving, and then that black and orange red line KTM of Taz McKenzie.
Watch Taz Weaving into this next Montreal airport. He tried it the lap before and it worked a charm. No, not this time.
Joe Irving running right behind them, and then behind him, Arnie Shelton, bravely representing the two-stroke 125 boys, James.
Yeah,
number 43.
Yeah, second in the championship. Behind Tom Carney's Arnie Shelton, number 35 out. That's Elliot Lodge.
One of the Bradford boys on the SP125 Spike Racing Honda. Not a great day at the moment for Steve Patrickson. As we saw
Jordan Weaving
neatly underneath at Agostini.
Yeah, Jordan Weaving, the South African kid, he's been a bit of a revelation, actually. He's getting quicker and quicker. He won at Knock Hill, and and went off pole today, and that's unusual for him. He's really sort of finding his feet here now.
So the 4 Moto3 bikes at the front then. Francis, Weaving, McKenzie, I beg your pardon, it's Weaving, Francis, McKenzie, Irving, and then a shed load of 125s until you get back to 18th place. Sam Berman's there with Hobson right behind her on the next Moto3 bikes.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about 2 strokes, 4 strokes. Honda's quick, you know, that WD-40 Honda of Joe Francis is a quick bite down that straight. I didn't expect that. Joe Irving,
he got a double bubble drag down the Bentley straight.
He did. He got a good draft in Joe Irving. Perfect.
And that put Taz McKenzie back to 4th place when he thought he was challenging for the front.
Yeah, but you know, when you're talking about low-powered bikes, it's about 48, 49 brake horsepower, 148 kilos, including rider, gear, fuel, and everything else is your minimum weight limit. Now, Taz McKenzie on the number 95 bike in 4th has to put weight on. He's got to put about 12 kilos on the bike to get up to that minimum weight limit. The 125 two-strokes have 136 kilo limit, 12 less. And they're a lighter bike anyway because the 2-stroke engines don't weigh as much as the 4-stroke engines.
The 4-stroke engines have got faster so quickly, haven't they? Look, barking up the hill there. The red line KTM sneaks inside Jordan Weaving into Riches and through to 3rd place. Behind them, Arnie Shelton, Bradley 6th, Ed Rendell 7th, ahead of Sullivan, Callum Bay, Taz Taylor in 10th place, and James Stephanie Waddlow having a brilliant ride at 11th.
Yep. And you know, when you look on paper, these Moto3 bikes, 254 strokes, when you look at the weight and the power, there's nothing to stop a 1.25 two-stroke being just as quick. And in fact, some of the lap records are still held by a 1.25 two-stroke.
There's number 22, Stephanie Waddle, on that pitch black motorcycle there from Ely on the Motostar125 East Anglian girl, of course. Oh, look at the lad behind. How much effort is he putting into that? He looks huge on that 125. And that's number 86, Bradley Hughes from Hales Owen on the Creswell Racing Honda.
Yeah,
I've never seen a bigger lad trying to tuck into a 125, James.
Stephanie Wadlow is just the right size for these 125s. Number 22, the black bike. That's Neil Durham's bike. The lad I go cycling with sometimes. Ex-Irish, Neil. Good lad.
I'm really admiring Bradley Hughes. Look at this. The difference in scale is immense. Now, then, what will happen on the back straight? Will Stephanie just take off? Bradley will have the slipstream, of course.
Yeah, he will, but the Aprilia of Stephanie Wadlow should be considerably quicker than the Honda that's behind it.
It is.
Yep, that's it.
So, at the moment, Joe Francis still at the front. That's Steph Wadlow. She's gained well down the Bentley Straight. We're back with, Joe Francis. Oh,
gets shoved out of the way by Taz McKenzie.
That was
Taz McKenzie just levered Joe Francis out of the way. I want to see how quick the Honda is. That's the WD-40 yellow and blue bike compared to the KTMs around it, because it looked quick down the back straight the lap before. He's right in the slipstream. He's Joe of Taz McKenzie.
In something of a horsepower battle, James. Weaving seems to be losing out here. He's just losing contact with these guys.
That's true. Yeah, it is. That's the case.
Did Father Neil McKenzie used to nip at people as much as this? Because Taz never... Lap record for Taz McKenzie, 2 minutes 1.572 on lap 3. Taz just... He bites like a terrier.
Yeah, but by the time I got to race on track with Neil McKenzie, that's Taz, the man 95 there in second, dad. He'd done Grand Prix and he was settled, and I wouldn't have wanted to race with Neil in his early days on 250 and 350 LCs and TZ.
Look at these two, absolutely shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, and Joe Francis neatly holds on as he slides into the left-hander Agostini. Oh, we got a faller.
Well, I mean,
bless him.
I'm not being funny, right? Far be it from me to criticise, but whoever it was should have really stayed on the time. He just drove off the track.
That was number 7, Jamie Ashby. Will wishes on to him, James, from the Nuneaton on the JPA Racing Honda.
That's the silliest thing I've seen in a long time, that.
It did look as if he was safely through, really, and just doing a bit of grass tracking.
No, if you're going wide and going to hit the grass, you actually shut the throttle and steer away from it.
Look at this. Irving again. And
yeah,
the Toden Tatey Pub bike is really quick down the back straight.
Well, I'm actually going to explain to you. It's Toden Tate.
I'm sorry, it's only got one T, so I think
it doesn't matter. It's Tate. That's how they explain it.
Oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Toden Tate KTM that's bundled its way through back to second place, leaving Taz McKenzie to once again try and line up an artistic move on the inside.
Toden Tate or Toden Tatey, there's a meal waiting for you there any time you want to go, Jack. I keep telling you that, but it still stands.
That's good, because I still want to get to that wonderful concert hall in Holmfirth one day that we almost made it to see Southside Johnny once. Number 40 in the lead, Joe Francis. Here comes Taz McKenzie, not to be outdone. He once again storms back underneath.
I'll tell you what, this is a mega race. I love these little bikes. It's slipstreaming, it's silliness from young kids trying to find a way and trying to find, you know, sometimes trying things that even they don't know whether they can do or not yet. I love these little bikes.
Bradley Ray on the beautiful sky blue bike is through into 5th place ahead of Shelton, Rendell, Bay, Sutherland and Taylor.
I would just saying, you know, there's nothing to stop a two-stroke 125 being just as quick as these. However, on paper it doesn't translate to just how much sort of torque and guts out the corners these 4-strokes have compared to, and that's what makes a difference.
Jordan Weaving, I thought he was out of contention. Look at this, he's darted through back into second place, taking Taz McKenzie by surprise. Joe Francis, James, is remarkably cool and composed and late on the brake, especially into Agostini.
Yeah, and he's got quite a quick bike compared to the rest, you know, as well as Joe Francis. That WD-40 Honda there, the yellow and blue.
Whoa, Taz goes inside of Williams. Oh, get that.
Taz does not muck about, I'll tell you. He's an hard little fella. He's only 17, but he looks about 12, does Taz. Really, really light, but tenacious.
So tenacious Taz McKenzie then back through into second place.
Oh, this is Taz McKenzie again. Look for the man going into second there on a 95 KTM. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. And then getting tucked in as early as he can out the corners, and that makes a big difference.
He's still in the middle of the turn as he tucks in.
He's still in the middle of puberty, I think.
Oh, wow. Now, look at this. He almost tried an inside move there on Joe Francis, but it didn't quite work. Now, where can he go? Nowhere.
Do you know what? I couldn't call this one at all. I couldn't call it. 5, we've got 7 laps left.
Oh, we're not even at half distance yet.
No. Nobody's out of this. Nobody's out of this, because you know when you get dropped off the back, especially when you've got a fairly quick bike like the 66 KTM of Joe Irving is, the old Firth lad, you can kind of suck yourself back in quite easy. You get a double draft and you get tucked in, and I can't see any of these disappearing now. I can see. That's Taz McKenzie running off the track.
That's a big change around.
He got involved in a scrap with Weaving, and that shoved them both wide. The big benefactor there was definitely Joe Francis on the WD-40 bike. There he is. Here we go. This is into Montreal. What happens? That's Taz McKenzie got shoved onto the grass, actually by Joe Francis. And Jordan Weaver just followed him out there.
So now, well, at least on the 6th of 12 laps, the lads have got plenty of time at half-race distance to regroup, shall we say. Joe Francis now at the front, ahead of Jordan Weaving and Joe Irving.
The problem is, you know, if you lose the toe, you really need the toe. So if you drop more than about 100 yards behind, Taz nearly did then, you've lost the toe and it'd be difficult to get back on terms. But he's just near enough, I think, he's Taz, to stay where, you know, to stay involved in this this brilliant four-man dice for the lead. There's Joe Irving, number 66, Oldfirth High School boy.
Jordan Weaving, number 34. He's only just turned 15 on the 15th of May. Jordan Weaving, the lad from Cape Town. God, these boys do leave home early, don't they? It's quite scary, really. Josh Brooks was telling me that he first flew on his own as a 14-year-old to Japan to compete in an 80cc Moriwaki Kawasaki race, which he won.
There you go.
But he went on his Todd, which is...
What kind of parenting is that? There you go, lad. You got your passport, you got your pop. Off.
Bye-bye, see you soon, if you make it. We're just completing the 6th lap out of 12, half-race distance then. And this is all to play for. Tara McKenzie back in touch. Whoa, Joe Irving, bullets past Weaving up the hill.
Fastest man for the last couple of 3 laps has been the man in 5th. That's Brad Ray on the first of the charging 2-strokes.
Is he right?
Yeah.
2 minutes 2.3.
No, yeah, he was into the 2-minute ones. He was a second quicker.
So Bradley Ray having a splendid ride. We were surprised at how far down he qualified, but of course he is on the 125 2-stroke, running in 5th place. There he is, the bright blue machine just in the background there. Little Bradley Ray, still he also is, he turned 15 the day after Jordan Weaving, this little kid.
Looks like the Milky Bar kid as well.
He does, he looks the most unlikely racer you can ever imagine.
I love that. I love the kids who look like paper boys who are hard as nails when they get a bike.
And these front 5 are way ahead of Arnie Shelton, Ed Rendell and the rest. Steph Wadlow still running there in 11th place ahead of the hard-working Bradley Hughes, who's begun to drop off her pace a little now. So it's Francis, Irving, Weaving. We're looking at
Irving's cost himself a lot of time there. You've got to be careful, you know, going into a corner. You don't really want to get tangled up. If you're not making a challenge like he wasn't with Joe Francis, you just need to give yourself a little bit of space. And he nearly clipped the back of Francis. He's running wide. It cost him 2 positions. Joe Irving there.
Joe Irving, one of the older boys, 16 years old in this race.
Yeah, he's from...
That's Taz McKenzie back into 2nd.
It is. It's not over this. This is going right down to the last lap. And you were talking about the picture drome in Oldfirth, which is where Joe Irving's from, where his dad's restaurant is. The venue for the bands is called the Picture Dome. You nearly came across to see Southside Johnny. I've been to see all sorts of bands there. I've been to see Stiff Little Fingers and all sorts. So there's normally a bit of a fight later on. It's an absolutely brilliant venue, it really is.
I thought Holmthurst was a respectable village.
Well, you thought a bit wrong. No, it's a brilliant town. Holmthurst is a lovely, lovely town, and Picture Dome's fantastic. Get some good bands on there.
And Holmthurst, by the way, was the home of Joshua Bamforth, the man who invented the picture postcards.
Yeah, the naughty ones from the seaside.
On the 8th lap of 12 then.
In fact, Bamforth's built... Oh, Taz goes wide there, and that lets Weaving through. Yeah, the Banfast building is now a sort of listed Huddersfield heritage kind of thing. They can't, nothing's been done with it because they don't want to make it into flats. It's still there as it was.
I've got to come and say that. Yeah. I've got a vast collection of the stuff from my late grandmother. Now, look at this. That was a big mistake by Taz McKenzie because Joe Irving got through and the other two have escaped, James, and he'll run out of laps here. We're at two-thirds, coming up towards two-thirds race distance on the 8th of 12 laps.
Yeah, this is... He's got to use his head now as Taz McKenzie. He's gone up the inside of Joe Irving. I'll try it into Agostini's. He's got to use his head because he's getting left behind a little bit now. I think he sees himself as a bit more pace than Joe Irving. And he's going to cost himself the chance of a win if he doesn't just sort himself out. He's Taz McKenzie now. He's
currently 11 points behind Joe Francis in the Moto3 championship table.
Yeah, because that's thanks to he was leading the championship just by about 5 or 6 points before Knockhill. His bike exploded, dropped a valve. In practice at Knockhill, and he took no part in the race, remember, Jack?
Yeah, big deficit there straight away. So Joe Francis leads the way. Second now for Jordan Weaving. Third, Joe Irving. Fourth, Taz McKenzie. Fifth place is Bradley Ray. Bradley Ray, 2 minutes, 1.6.
Yeah, 1.6, sorry, 0.59. He's actually the quickest man on track, and has been. I said he's been the quickest man on track for the last 3 or 4 or 5 laps.
The amazing little Milky Bar kid who actually got selected for the Red Bull Rookies MotoGP Cup last year, the only British kid in 11 out of over 100 competitors. We really rate him. He's a cracking little rider.
Nice lad as well.
But look at this, on the two, as you said, James, on the two-stroke.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these two-strokes. Two-strokes on paper should be every bit as quick, and the lap record still stands to two-strokes on a lot of these circuits. It's just that some of the best lads are now on 4-strokes. That's the difference, really. Mind you, I love 4-strokes. I love 2-strokes, sorry. I'm a bit biased. That's Brad Ray.
Number 71, Wales, is getting lapped.
I used to race with his dad, Terry Wales.
Really?
Yeah, that might be Terry Wales. He's still racing. That's his old fella.
He's not even on our start list, even my new, proper, up-to-date start list. So it must have been a fairly late entry into proceedings. Now then, we're on the 9th lap of 12, so we're approaching three-quarter race distance. And look at that, Jordan Weaving carves underneath Joe Francis to retake the lead. Number 66, Joe Irving, right in the middle of him. Taz McKenzie straining at the leash to get back on terms.
And you know, Taz McKenzie's biggest hope now is these three in front. That's Weaving, Francis and Irving. Trip themselves up a little bit and just give him a chance just to get back on and give himself a chance of doing something on the last lap. And this might happen.
Cracking race.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
So at the moment, Weaving, the championship leader, is the man at the front on that bright red and yellow number 34. Right behind him, the equally bright blue and yellow number 40, Joe Francis. Right behind him is the more somber black and orange there of Joe Irving, and then the equally orange, because orange, of course, became KTM's racing colour. The great Austrian factory went for orange after running in white for many, many years. It swapped over to orange and made a real name for it just at the right time when orange was kind of the in colour, really. Bradley Ray still in the background there, leading the 125 GP class, but look at this. Here we've got Joe Francis back at the front. Jordan Weaving looking once again for that line up for the final turn.
It's a four-manner again, this, definitely. That's Taz McKenzie looking around the outside of Irving at... I'll tell you what, though, number 66, I'm in third. Irving's learning from this, you know. You can see him learning as the job goes on.
In the past, James, he's had the fastest bike, but he's not been able to really live with them. Today, he's very much living with them.
Yep, and I don't think he has the outright fastest bike out there. He's good, don't get me wrong, but I think probably Joe Francis has the quickest bike now. That Honda, that WD-40 Honda, yellow and blue bike.
I've just heard that you're trying to get some WD-40 after the WD-40, lads, James. So we'll keep mentioning number 40, WD-40 Honda. Well, there it goes.
I feel like I've been stabbed in the back there, Jack, thanks.
Sorry, it was just something I heard from a distant voice over my headphones, James. Number 34, Jordan Weaving, is back from the front. Francis is second, and Taz McKenzie squeezes Irving wide at Agostini.
And this is Weaving going past that WD-40 Honda for the lead. See what I did there, Jack?
So we're on the 10th lap out of 12, building up to the climax of the Monster Energy Motostar Championship here at Snetterton.
Good shot of Taz McKenzie, man in third, 95 KTM.
There's Bradley Ray scooting round, still keeping a tag on these guys and something like almost 20 seconds ahead of the next 125. Suddenly Jordan Weaving's got a gap. He's got a breakaway.
I know, yeah, I've seen that.
He's timed things well before now, James, this lad.
Absolutely he has, yeah. And he was quick in practice as well, so maybe he's been playing with him. I don't think so. It didn't. This race hasn't had the feeling that anybody's been sort of wasting any time or sandbagging, you know.
Still about 23 riders out on track. We lost Tom Kahn and Dan Costilla, of course, in the absolute sighting lap when they had some technical issues. But here we are now, tearing out of the final chicane, and we're into the last 2 laps.
And what you do with these things, you get your elbows tucked in, your knees, you strain, you get your head down, and for every little bit of an angle of your body you can get tucked in, there's definitely time to be made.
Oh, Joel Francis proving. Oh, no, he's gone wide at Richards.
Yeah.
So as they bark out of Richards towards the famous scary tree, that means that here is Jordan Weaving back at the front. Joe Francis right behind him. Tarrant McKenzie just not quite able to get on terms. We thought Jordan Weaving had made a break, but the boys have closed back again.
Yeah, and that bike of Joe Francis, the one in second there, he's quick. He is really quick. You don't want to give him the last lap down the straight behind him.
What will he be learning at Maxton Engineering? Presumably a lot about suspension, James.
Yeah, that's what we'll be learning. Valving and machining, and yeah, but that will be, for somebody like me, and possibly him, it will be an interesting place to work. You'll learn a lot there.
Apparently the previous lad that they had there working on work experience was the lovable Connor Bean, who's another local Cheshire boy. And of course, he never stayed away from the machines. He runs a shop of his own now, as well as racing for Ryan Farquhar in Ireland, in the Irish road race stuff.
Now we're looking at Taz McKenzie and Joe Irving in third and fourth, and I don't know whether they've left themselves a little bit of work to do there. We've got a lap and a half left.
Too much. Now watch Joe Irving now try and pull out of the slipstream of Taz McKenzie.
And he does.
McKenzie keeping the gas on, but it's not going to work. Look at that, swoops past. Joe Irving still at the front, and sorry, Joe Francis loses out to Jordan Weaver. But look at this, Irving is suddenly right with them again.
Yeah, and Joe Irving's bike is good, you know. He needs to get himself in a position where he can make every little use of the slipstream effect on the last lap down the back straight and the start-finish straight they're coming into now.
We'll have 1 lap left out of this one. We've got Weaving, Francis, Irving and McKenzie running top 4.
And I tell you what, Irving did get a good drag there out of Murray's. He got a really good run. Is his bike able to live with the Honda of Francis? Yes, it is.
He's very confident. He wings early out of the slipstream. He doesn't hang around in there, but then Francis turns out to be quicker eventually up the hill.
Yeah, this is... that's why. That's why Irving. Yeah, Francis got a bit of a sort of moment mid-corner.
On the final lap then, look at Joe Francis and the mid-corner speed, closing right up on the leader, Jordan Weaving. So we got South Africa versus Cheshire versus Yorkshire versus Scotland. Well, actually, Ashby de la Zouche, even though he's very much a Scotsman born up in Starling, of course.
I don't think that counts. I'm claiming he was English. Taz McKenzie.
He certainly sounds English.
Yeah, he does.
All those attempts at making him say, I could murder a burger, certainly haven't worked. So Taz McKenzie running 4th, struggling to get on the rostrum here because Joe Irving's got a lot of pace on that Toad and Tatty pub bike.
Yeah, he has. Yep. He's learned as the race has gone on, as Joe Irving, number 66.
Oh, and someone's down.
Off.
That might have been Jordan Weaving.
It's Weaving.
The lead has gone down. Definitely. Jordan Weaving has chucked it away. The 15-year-old from Cape Town has crashed while leading the race and suddenly turned the whole race on its head.
Here we go. Watch him, top of shot. Yeah, just lost the front to Hoggies. That's what happened.
So the Burkert Jordan Racing KTM crashes out, luckily unharmed, but furious with himself. And Joe Irving versus Joe Francis now, with Taz McKenzie right behind the Honda and KTM. This is absolute drama.
It's going to be interesting. Bommel, then we've got Corrams, and then we've got Murray's little stop-start left-hander. And this isn't over yet. Watch for McKenzie running it wide into Nick second.
Irving cleverly blocked blocked an inside move there by Taron McKenzie, so he's got to look up the inside now, but he's not near enough, surely.
No.
It's Joe Francis who might be in line to take victory here.
This could
Joe
be...
Francis on the WD-40
This could be Irving,
Honda.
it could be Irving. No, it's Francis.
Joe Francis takes victory, his first victory for Joe Francis on the WD-40 Honda. Brilliant ride by him. Joe Irving gets his probably best result of the season. It is. And Taron McKenzie loses out, having won twice at the opening round. He finishes in third place. Bradley Ray, a brilliant fourth on the leading 125 GP bike. And Jordan Weaving falls when he's leading the race. Now, James, that is going to make a difference to the championship, because only 11 points separated Joe Francis from Taron McKenzie. Taron McKenzie will now lead the championship, I suspect. I beg your pardon, Joe Francis. I'm getting this all back to front.
Joe Francis.
Joe Francis will extend his lead in the championship.
Steph Wadlow going to be coming over now in about...
Oh,
I think she's going to be coming over in...
Not, is she going to be coming over in 7 or 8? Crossing the line now. Wadlow in 6th place ahead of Callum Bay and Pete Sutherland. Great ride by Steph Wadlow on the black bike there. Well done, that girl. Steph Wadlow then 6th ahead of Callum Bay, Pete Sutherland and Taylor. Weaving dropping down our lap charts, of course, because he's no longer in the race. And Joe Francis takes the win. And he won at Alton Park. He's won again here at Snetterton to extend his lead in the championship. Taron McKenzie takes 3rd place, remains 2nd in the championship. Jordan Weaving, of course, swapped over from the 125 GP bike to the Moto3B bike 3 races into the season. He won at Knockhill, but he's down in 5th place in the championship. Joe Francis there. Bradley Ray gives him the thumbs up. And Joe Francis, that was a masterly performance, really, by
he really was.
Maxton's work experience apprentice. With Joe Irving 2nd, Taron McKenzie 3rd, so Honda win it with a KTM 2.3. This is how the race panned out. Brilliant start by Jordan Weaving off the front row of the grid, off pole position on bike number 34. Left to the front. Good start also by Joe Irving, and right round the outside sweeps Joe Francis on the distinctive blue and yellow WD-40 bike. Well, it's Irving who makes an early launch to the front on the Toad and Tatty Pump bike, then immediately loses it at the Melbourne hairpin. And these 4 riders, Francis, Taron McKenzie up the inside there, Joe Irving and Jordan Weaving, they become the front runners. And all the way through the race, they start to swap paint and places. Taron McKenzie pulls a brilliant move up the inside of Jordan Weaving there at Williams onto the back straight. And then Jordan Weaving and Taron McKenzie squeeze themselves accidentally wide at Melbourne. That's cost Taron McKenzie a lot of time to make up now. Jordan Weaving attacked Joe Francis again, and Agostini went back into the lead. And Weaving led the way in the closing stages from Francis and an invigorated Joe Irving on that Toad and Tatty Pump black and orange bike. And then Jordan Weaving on the final lap lost the front and went down. What a misfortune then for Weaving. He throws away the victory. That goes to Joe Francis ahead of Joe Irving with Taz McKenzie in 3rd place. So the championship leader in good form then on the WD-40 Honda takes victory here at Snetterton. The Monster Energy Motostar British Championship result here at Snetterton, and a race that took almost 25 blistering minutes. Joe Francis, Moto3 Honda, takes victory ahead of Joe Irving and Taron McKenzie on KTMs. Bradley Ray, 4th place, ahead of Ed Rendell in 5th. Stephanie Wadlow, a whacking 6th, ahead of Callum Bay, Peter Sutherland, Taz Taylor and Bradley Hughes. Big Bradley managing to ward off Ward, Durham, Uribe, Hobson and Berman. 2 ladies in the points. Brilliant performance by them ahead of Taylor, Dobb, Owens, Vernon and the luckless Jordan Weaving. The Moto3 standings in the Monster Energy Motostar Cup then look like this. Joe Francis was on 81 points, moves to 106 with that win. He's now 20 points clear of Taron McKenzie on 86. Joe Irving on 72 is a solid 3rd. Hobson on 42. Berman moves into 5th place on 35. And the luckless Jordan Weaving, instead of having 50 points to his name, remains stuck on 25 ahead of Simpson, Waring and Taylor.
Yeah, we are here in Parc Ferme, the 3-2-1, just congratulating each other, very sporting that they are. Let's have a word then with Taryn McKenzie, our 3rd place finisher. So close at the end, they're going into Murray's, Taz. But tell us about the contact where you were nearly forced off track. What happened there?
Yeah, I braked the same as Joe going in, but he ran a bit wide, so I got the drive on him, but he swung to the right a bit and then swung across, so didn't allow me to brake in my normal position and then barged me a bit to the white line. But that's racing, it happens, World Championships. Why can't it happen here? But yeah, just tough race. For how small I am on the bike and how much weight I've got on it, it's not that fast compared to these two. But yeah, try again for the next one.
Love it, can't wait to see you out there. We'll let you go to the podium. Well done, Taz.
Yeah, just quick thanks to Redline KTM and all my sponsors. Cheers.
Nicely done. Right, let's have a word with our 2nd place finisher, Joe Irvin. Very, very hectic race for you, Joe. And when you got your head down, you seem to get into a rhythm. You could take chunks out of them.
Well, yeah, I set the lap record, I think, near the end of the race, but it was a good battle. None of us could put a string of lap together without someone else cutting each other up, but that's how I like it, really. It was a good race. Just bad luck for Jordan. He crashed out with a couple of laps to go, but I think he might have won it again, same as Knockhill, but...
Good. Well, I mean, the bike looks good underneath you. You're feeling happy with the way your season is progressing?
Yeah, very well. I haven't got a win yet. I'd have liked to have got it today, but I didn't see the last lap flag. There was that many pit boards out and people waving. I thought we still had a lap to go, but there we go.
Never mind, next time, maybe one step higher. Very well done on your 2nd place.
Yeah, just like to say a big thanks to all my sponsors that have helped me get here, everyone on my leathers, Shark helmets and Puteline oils.
Nicely done. Off you go to the podium then. And now let's talk to our race winner, Joe Francis. Well, when you saw Jordan Weaving, get strategy at that point, or were you absolutely head down and going for it anyway?
I knew Joe was close because he come alongside me into the 1st corner. I just tried to catch Jordan. I did gain. I saw he brake very late and it just the front forward on him, otherwise he was riding a mega race. And then Joe come past me down the straight and I just let the brakes off. It was everywhere and just got it stopped and got out. So
take nothing away from your performance. You were magnificent out there. What does this mean for you going on to the next round in the championship?
It's good because we thought we'd struggle here because the long straights, because of my size, and the KTMs are just that little bit quicker, but my Honda's mega, and it's just... We just managed to get the handling, so hopefully at the next round we can do the same. It
was a superb performance. We'll let you go to the podium. Well done.
I'd just like to say thank you to Shark Helmets, Bennett's, WD-40, Newt Oils, Dunlop, and Shark, yeah. And
Merlin.
Tilted Barrel Pub and Merlin. Thank you.
Nice, we'll let you go to the podium. Very well done. That's our race winner there, Joe Francis. He'll make his way over to the podium and Jack will take us through the celebrations.
So the 125 GP standings after that race. Tom Kahn, unlucky to go out on the sighting lap, ends up with still the same lead over poor Arnie Shelton, who went out of that race. Peter Sutherland closes up on Shelton in 3rd place ahead of Ed Rendell, a point back in 4th. Callum Bay is in 5th, and just as she was in the race, Aprilia's Stephanie Wadlow is now 6th in the championship ahead of the departed Jordan Weaving. Elliot Lodge 8th, Bradley Ray in 9th place. Ward on the Lloyton Honda is 10th. What a beautiful setting here. Could we be in a more magic place? There is Taryn McKenzie in 3rd place on the right. On the left, Joe Irving and the two Joes 1-2, because it's Joe Francis who steps on top of the box for WD-40 Honda. His first race win of the year means extends his championship lead and looks very, very strong in the Moto 3 category of the Monster Energy Motostar Championship. So Joe Francis, who was the British GP 50 champion in 2009 and the British GP 90 champion in 2010 and the Aprilia Super Team champion in Thundersport in 2011 before entering the British Superbike arena. Brilliant result for him. Brilliant season he's having.
Well, the champagne spraying continues, the sunshine continues, and Snetterton continues. We're off for a short break, but when we come back, it's time to go from the small boys to the big boys, the Pirelli National Super